TNTMTheShow presents Comicast 325. I'm your host, Pablo Gunner, and I'm here to talk nerdy to you about this week's comics, which is February. It's not January, it's February 14th. We have our own grade scale here for the Comicast and Talk Nerd to Me, which is by skim pass with variations, strong by, weak by. So strong by, weak by, strong skim, weak skim, pass. And then our best book of the week we call the B-Bow, back and bag of the week. We also have a runner-up to the back and bag of the week. And I'll be saying, hey, when I review these books, I'm going to say, hey, this is a contender. So it's a contender for runner-up and or B-Bow. Okay? That's what that means. That'll be the strong buys mostly. Yeah, it'll only be strong buys. Not all the strong buys are runner-up or B-Bow or contender. So that is spoiler alert. I will be spoiling these books at least to a certain degree. But I feel like I'm more the hype man. I don't spoil the whole thing. It's just a broad strokes because I'm only reviewing it for a minute. I have a minute timer to keep me on track. Since I'm by myself, just a minute timer. JD is ill, which I am worried about that guy and his system because he gets sick a lot. I worry about him. So send your thought and prayers his way because he needs it to get well, to get better. Anyways, Black Panther is out. I haven't seen it yet. I'll be seeing it tomorrow, which I'm recording this on a Sunday, so it'll be Monday when I see it. Lots of good things. You know, I haven't really gotten into much, but I just know there's a lot. It's done really well so far. Was like the highest for pre-sale for Marvel movies. Not surprised there. Yeah, so that's pretty much that. For gaming, I played some Life is Strange. I played the first episode over again so that I could do like a different path type thing, because it's one of those where you get to choose your path type thing or choose your choices, you know, what you say or what you do and stuff at pivotal points. And so I was like, okay, I'm just going to play this out the way my other profile is going. I'm not going to alter that. I'm not going to redo the episode. I'm just going to have another different profile. So I want to see how different it is. And then for shows, I haven't really been getting into shows. I've still been slowly hammering away at Dragon Ball Super, and I'm getting close to getting caught up, but I've only been watching like one episode per week. So I've been like doing it as it comes out. Well, not the new one, but I know they come out every week, and so I'll be behind. I won't be caught up by the time it finishes. And I watched like the Babadook the other day. That was weird and kind of stupid. And then Goodfellas. Watched some Goodfellas, which is always good. It's a classic. And it's fantastic. So yeah. Walking Dead. I've been getting caught up on Walking Dead. I'm a completionist horse, so I have to, because honestly, it hasn't been that great. The wife was like, I'm not really into it. And I'm like, well, we recorded it and we got to watch it because it's on there. So it really hasn't it's been a huge bore, which is weird because All Out War was so phenomenal reading the comics because I read them as they came out. It was almost week by week. It was kind of like a monthly event type thing or a couple months, and it was phenomenal. And I was like, why are they not following the cue of the comics? Because the comics did really well with that. And it's really just really boring and really slow and just not good at all. I mean, yeah, sure, there's some elements, but overall, it's just weak. It's weak as heck. As you may or may not notice, I am back in the comic book room. Power has been restored to this room, so I'm back. It will be upgraded over time. I'm probably going to shift this stuff on this wall to a different wall where there's less room, because obviously it doesn't take up all the room on this wall. And I'm probably going to put all the B-Bows up on this wall, see if I can get the wife to help me put all the runner-ups and B-Bows up on the wall so you all can see it, see all the runner-ups and B-Bows that we've had. At least for the last year. I don't know. I've gotten rid of a lot of these books. I get rid of a lot of them at the conventions. So there's a good chance I gave away runner-up and B-Bows for past years. But this year, I have them in a separate stack. Or not just this year, but last year. I guess the previous year before that, I guess, is the best way to put it. 2017's books and, of course, 2018 books, separate stacks pile. So those ones are actually getting back in bag. The other ones probably were not. So anyways, yeah, I think there was the Deadpool that came out, and that was really awesome. But yeah, and then I think Jessica Jones comes out soonish and stuff. And that's about it. I still need to download the PlayStation Plus games, which I think is Knack and Rhyme. I heard a lot of good things about Rhyme, and I've heard decent things about Knack. So, yeah, I guess I'll quit stalling and go ahead and get into this shebangarang, right? Starting with Star Wars Grand Admiral Thrawn. Actually, it's just Thrawn, #1. It's $4.99. It's like the origins of Thrawn. Writer is Jody Hauser. Artist Luke Ross. Colorist Nolan Woodard. Letterer Clayton Cowles. And so it's the Empire, and they're just checking out this other planet because I guess people have crashed there and stuff. And you just see Thrawn, and he sets up these traps and stuff, and then he sneaks onto their ship, and then he like gives himself up, and he's like, hey, I can help you guys, if you help me and stuff. And he even goes before the Emperor, and he's like, oh, I knew Anakin and stuff. I don't know of this stuff, but it's interesting. So yeah, it's really cool, really neat. And so the Emperor's like, okay, we'll set you up as an officer and stuff. So that's what he does. And he's like, and they, these people are tricking them, these other big shot officers, and he comes up with a plan with them, and they get attacked and stuff by this little group. And they come up with a plan to deal with them in that way because this guy's like, I'm so tired of them. He's like, I want to kick them out. And he's like, no, let's throw them in pilot school and stuff. And yeah, so you see his manipulativeness and stuff. And it's really, really neat. It's really cool. I like it a lot. It looks phenomenal. It's really interesting. And yeah, it's just kind of weird how he's like savage. So not savage, but like he's, kind of savage at the beginning. And then he's like all of a sudden like reformed and cleaned up and everything like very quickly. I don't know. It's cool. It's interesting. It's just, it's weird because the way he looks at the beginning does not coincide with the way he is in Rebels. And so I'm just kind of like, okay, whatever. But it's great. It's great. It's really good. So yeah, I totally suggest it, recommend it. I give it a strong buy. I would even go so far as to call it a contender. Here's digital code anyways. F for Falcon, Z for Zabrak, M for Millennium, J for Jack, H for Huck, L for Lupin, U for Under, 1, N for Nova, J for Jack, 9-7. Moving on to Old Man Hawkeye, #2. We have Ethan Sachs as writer, Marco Cecchetto as artist, colorist Andres Mosa, letterer Joe Caramagna. And the sheriff, which is Bullseye, has come to visit this guy and his family. He takes out his sons, and it's like the Justin Hammer son or something, some relative, descendant or whatever down the line. And then you have like the the orb sees Hawkeye and freaks out, and so that becomes a giant mess because he just rolled into this place, and he has to do his thing. His eyesight is slowly failing him, and you see like some more like death and destruction that the orb sees, and then Bullseye gets a clue as to where Hawkeye might be, and he finds his daughter. His daughter really doesn't care anything for him, so that's not really a thing. And then we have Hawkeye's visiting another villain. I would say he's like a C-lister. So, but yeah, anyways, it is phenomenal. It looks great. It's really interesting. Bullseye looks not as tough or cool as he did like in the first issue, but he's still pretty him. So he's still pretty scary. He's still pretty tough. So yeah, it's a solid issue. I like it a lot. It looks great. It reads great. So I give it a strong buy. So, and here is the digital code. We have M for Mankey, H for Hank, O for Oscar, 0, F for Frank, R for Rick, Q for Quill, M for Mark, P for Punisher, Q for Quill, T for Thomas, 1. Now on to Marvel 2-in-1, The Thing and the Human Torch. Number 3. Yeah, that's number 3, Fate of the Four. And it is Chip Zdarsky as the writer, Valerio Scheiti as the artist, Carlos Pacheco and Rafael Fonteris. And then Frank Martin as colorist. And so this one is weird. We have this guy, and he's like, oh, he's looking for Reed Richards. He's like, he's missing. Doom shows up. Then we have Johnny Storm and the Thing, and they go to Hercules, and they're like, hey, this guy's gonna help you with your powers. And so Hercules is like, okay, I went to this lady to help me with my powers and stuff, and they show up, and she's like, yeah, you guys didn't make an appointment and whatever, and it costs all kinds of money to get it fixed. Well, they show up and they find Hydro, and so seeing them, he attacks them because he thinks they're there to take him down, but they're not, but they end up kind of doing it anyways, and they end up wrecking her lab, and she's all pissed about it and stuff. Anyway, she explains that their powers are both waning, and they're both getting weaker because they're not with the Fantastic Four. So if they don't get to the Fantastic Four, they're going to lose their powers completely. So, and then the Mad Thinker goes nuts more so. Really, really great stuff. This looks phenomenal. It's super interesting. This is going to be really great it's just going to be, I can't wait. It's just a great journey. It's hasn't even started yet. I mean, it kind of has, but yeah, it's brilliant. This is a brilliant book right here. I give this one a strong buy. I give this one a contender. I'm going to hold on to the digital code until the end. So yeah. On to Darth Vader, number 11. It is Charles Soule as writer, Giuseppe Camuncoli as pencils, Daniele Orlandini as inks, David Curiel as colors. And it's weird. So Vader goes to this planet where they got this tip, and he takes one of the Inquisitors, and it's actually like this lady, but she looks like an ogre. So it's hard to like get her voice like sounding but they make it work, like where it sounds like just a lady ogre pretty much. He goes in by himself, and it turns up to be a setup of this person. It turns out to be a setup from these bounty hunters. They jack his lightsaber, which is weird because his new lightsaber actually looks like similar to like Dooku or Asajj Ventress. Like it kind of looks like that. His newest one. And so that's why I was a little confused as like, wait, whose lightsaber is this? And so, yeah. And so he has no lightsaber. He fights them off. He chases them down. This person, this Inquisitor, won't help him because, of course, he's the reason that she lost an eye. So just plays dumb, and he thinks like, oh, you set me up. Turns out it's actually the Emperor that set him up. So because the Emperor is constantly testing him in so many different ways for so many different reasons. And so that's great to see. And I can't wait to find out, like when he goes to question the Emperor and is like, oh, what was the lesson this time? Or, or whatever. It's so great. I'm loving this series. It's really interesting and it's really solid. So yeah, it looks phenomenal. I give it a strong buy. I give it a contender. Oh man, I don't know if I should hang on to this one too. I think I'm going to. So yeah. On to the next book, which is The Amazing Spider-Man Renew Your Vows, number 16. Fast Times at Midtown High, number 1. So it is Jody Houser as writer, artist Nathan Stockman, Ruth Redmond as colorist, and we have Peter Parker, and he's trying to sell pictures of Lizard and his family and stuff, and Jonah Jameson is like, everybody has a phone these days, and everybody does this, you should do something else, because this is I can't, pay you the same rate. So now he's like paying even less, and this lady's like, oh, maybe you should just take photos of celebs. And it's funny, like Annie, she's like, oh yeah, I haven't really found friends, like really good friends, or my place at school, to hang out or anything. And then Peter's like, oh, by the way, I'm going to be a teacher. And then they fight, and she's like, that's my place. This is just kind of funny how she's like, I haven't found a place, but now it's her place all of a sudden. So now he's a photography teacher over at the school. And then it seems like there's some explosion. The thing is, her powers work different. Like she has premonitions. It's like a spider sense premonition, like before it happens. Whereas Peter, it's like when the danger is about to happen. So she goes there. It's these kids are doing these weird experiments and stuff, and then he suits up, and yeah, it's something's going on with them, and she's gonna have to deal with it. So yeah, it's interesting stuff. I like it because it's like slice of life. They continue to talk about like how there's money problems, and it just makes it feel really realistic because if you're an adult, you still have money issues, and in fact, that's pretty much most of your life consists of. I mean, I make good money, and I still have money issues. So it's a relatable thing. So I like it a lot. It's a strong buy. It looks really great with what they're going for. So I enjoy it a lot. And if you're into this type of thing, then I think you would too. So here's the digital code. A for Amazing, W for Wolverine, Z for Zarbon, E for Echo, 924119, I for Inside, S for Super. Now I have X-Men Blue, number 21, Poison X, part 2. Writer Colin Bunn, artist Jacopo Camani, color artist Matt Mia. And so we have these symbiote aliens, and they found out that the X-Men, the young X-Men, are looking for them, and so they attack them, and they get their butts freaking whooped. The X-Men, well, Cyclops gets impaled. They all get pretty messed up, so they have to bail. Venom's the only one that really can handle himself, and then he ends up like talking to the snitch that sold him out and getting information from him where these symbiotes hide out, or where this guy, this bounty hunter that gave him the symbiotes are. So they go and track him down, and he has a whole warehouse of symbiotes, and they attack him, and the symbiotes get out, and so now the X-Men are symbioted too, and so they look fierce, and so now it's like evening the odds type thing, and we're gonna see them probably go up against the other symbiotes, all symbiotic. It's gonna be wicked. It already looks wicked. It's really crazy. It's really intense. It's really kind of, I don't know though, because Cyclops got impaled, and like, I know Jean's like, oh, I shut down your pain receptors, and I'm using my telekinesis to keep your wounds, in and pressure and stuff. And then I guess that could kind of help when he has the symbiote too. I don't know, but like, he just, like, you got impaled, dude. Like, I don't see how you're gonna be able to just be like, I'm back in the fight now, even with the symbiote. That just seemed like it didn't make sense to me. That was too extreme. Like, I understand him getting hurt, but as extreme as they made it look and seem, it just doesn't make sense. That's the only thing, but everything else looks really awesome, and I can't wait for the next issue because it's going to be epic. So yeah, strong buy. Not quite a contender because of that issue. So here we go. Here's the digital code. T for terrified, X for X-Men, K for kill, Z for zoo, U for ugly, Z for zoo, O for onto, M for milk, 7, M for milk, S for sane, H for hotel. I have Miss Marvel, number 27. G. Willow Wilson is the writer. Nico Leon is the artist. Ian Herring is color artist. And so once again, we have this guy, this Jewish kid, and he's looking for clues about Kamala and her disappearance. And she left her hat there at this video store place that she used to go and stuff. And then he's like, okay, I have an idea. A clue falls out of the hat. And then meanwhile, you have the Miss Marvel squad, and they are tracking down their friend through the phone, and they find her in this guy's lab and stuff. And I just love this artist and the way that she delivers her message. The way that, like, she's just like, talks about old generation, new generation, how it's a complicated relationship, but that doesn't mean we should throw them away or kill them for battery juice or whatever. Then her squad shows up. They fight them off. It's really intense because it looks like this one girl dies, and it's just really crazy. Then he runs off. The bad guy runs off. And they're like, what do we do? This is out of our hands. We don't have powers, like Miss Marvel could handle this, Kamala, but we don't have her. They're like, well, we do have the signal to get Captain Marvel, though. And so there you have that. This was a phenomenal issue. So much so, this is another digital code I'm going to hold on to because it's just that great. Strong buy contender. I have Archie, number 28. Mark Waid and Ian Flynn do the story. Art by Audrey Mock. Colors by Kelly Fitzpatrick. Lettering by Jack Morelli. And so this one's funny. It's about how both Betty and Veronica have had nothing to do with him, pretty much. And so he's tried dating other girls. And because he's just, bad luck, all these horrible things have happened to them. And it's funny because these girls, they're at Pops and they're talking like in the booth over. And they're like, oh, yeah, well, he's so cute, But yeah, we're staying away from him. Him and Jughead have a chat, and they're like, why don't you just do all these other things? And he's like, whatever, I don't want to do that. Then you see Betty and Veronica. There's a dance coming up or something. And so they're like, helping each other out and stuff. Andrews is just messing stuff up. Then you have Mickey Mantle or whatever, and he's just being a giant piece of crap douchebag like he is, spoiling movies and just being an a-hole, stealing his dad's car and doing whatever. And he's going to go ruin the dance for everybody by spilling the beans about the blossoms and stuff. So, yeah. It is a great book. It's so good, in fact, that it's one of those books where I feel myself getting pissed off because I'm like, man, I freaking hate this Mantle kid, you know. He's just a freaking dirtbag. And then just the stuff that's going on, it's weird how this cheesy comic can also be relatable, how things happen with relationships and such. So, and just in life. So yeah, it's definitely a strong buy, and it's definitely a contender because of that fact. And that's it. It is time for a commercial break. It's time for me to talk about one of our sponsors, Age of Comics, which is a comic book store located in Albuquerque, New Mexico, where we're stationed, of course. Why else would we go there? And the specific location is 3700 Osuna Road, Northeast, Suite 513, Albuquerque, New Mexico, 87109. It is near Just Cause Cosplay Store. It's in that same shopping area. So, and it is also, if you want to give them a call, 505-884-1776. You can also go to their website at ageofcomics.store. They're usually open from 11 to 6, but like on the weekends, it's right now it's 12 to 4 on Sunday. So anyways, yeah, they're a phenomenal comic book store. They put out a video every week of what they are putting out on Wednesdays. So essentially what they got in on Tuesday, what they're going to put out Wednesday. And so they have a video of it, all the stuff, all the Funko Pops, all the comics, all the statues, you know, figurines, whatever, all that stuff. You know, all the Marvel Legends Build-A-Figurine stuff, which is really cool. They have a pinball machine in their store, and I just love talking to those guys. Every single one that works there, all the brothers, because they're all brothers that run this place. And so I just BS with them every time I'm over there, pretty much. And it's not busy, but, you know, there's at least like somebody in there, one or two people in there. So yeah, it's a great place to check out, and they're just really cool dudes. They really know their stuff. They'll press and clean your comics if you want them press and clean, and they'll get them sent off to go get graded. So it's a phenomenal thing to do, you know. So go ahead and check them out. Follow them on Facebook and everything like that, and you know, go onto their store and subscribe to them. Alrighty, I'm going to get back to some comics with Old Man Logan, number 35. Ed Brisson is the writer. Ibram Robertson is artist. Carlos Lopez is color artist. And so this is just the finale to this story arc. You have Old Man Logan. He is down, and he is almost taken out. It looks like he's taken out. His healing factor really isn't doing much. Gorgon has just totally wrecked him. And so Mariko defeats Gorgon, and then she gives him the Regenix to, you know, boost his healing factor back up. So that's pretty much it, man. And then they go and trash Yoshida's offices because he thinks they're still making Regenix, which there's a chance he might be. It's weird though, because on one claw Wolverine has bone, and then the other one it's adamantium, and it's just weird. And I'm like, why? I thought he just put his hand back on, or did his hand just completely I don't know. It's weird. So, but yeah, now they're going their separate ways, and he's just like, I just wanted to have a beer. And next is like him going up against Bullseye. So that's going to be really cool. So I want to keep reading this. This was, this was a decent run. I would say it's probably better in trade, especially because this is just the end. It's very like, oh, we're just wrapping things up, and that's pretty much it. So it was a decent book. I give it, it looks great. So it's just like I said, it just, it was kind of predictable somewhat. So I'm going to give it a buy. Here's the digital code. F for Familia, Z for Zorro, M for Marcos, 2, Z for Zorro, V for Villanueva, 39, E for Iluterio, R for Rigoberto, 38. Now, Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps. Number 38. It's $2.99. It is Robert Venditti as the writer. We have, I believe, Ethan Van Sciver as the artists, and then Jason Wright as color artist. And Zod is defeated the Green Lanterns, Hal and Kyle, and they've been beaten up really bad, especially Kyle. He's totally messed up. They actually have Hal to dinner, and they talk about like, hey, what their plan is and stuff, partially. And Hal, because he had created the ring out of his own will, he can summon it. So he calls the ring to him, and he gets them out of there. And then he finds out that the villains are actually, or not the villains, but the natives are, they're like their cult or whatever, they and stuff. So they end up attacking them, and then Hal's like, all right, well, you're really messed up, so I'm going to give my ring to you and have it send you home. And so that is what's going on with that. And yeah, so the Green Lantern Corps will be sending their troops to where the Zod family is, I guess. So yeah, it's pretty awesome. It looks phenomenal. It's pretty hardcore, really great, strong buy, and contender. Punisher 221. Writer Matthew Rosenberg, artist Guiu Villanova, colorist Lee Lowridge, Corey Petit is letterer. So I didn't expect this to happen, but yeah. So Punisher was just like drowned, kind of. Well, not drowned, but in the War Machine suit, he did sink, and these fishermen scooped him up, and so his suit's now all messed up. It's done. Life support like fails right as they take his mask off, or as he's asking. It's really intense. Then he finds this other guy who has War Machine armor, and he's like, oh, you know how to fix this thing? And he's like, yeah. He's like, okay, well, we got to go to we have to go to this facility to do it. And he's like, okay. Then Fury reveals that, yeah, that guy doesn't know jack crap. And he's like, okay, you're not needed anymore. But there's this other guy that's there, and he's like, can you help me? And he's like, yeah. So he does that. Then he gets the suit fixed up, and he's back to doing his thing, taking his dudes out, this Petrov general dude, and he's just tearing people up and messing people up. And yeah, it's awesome. So how can you contend with that? It's a strong buy, and it's contender, and it looks great, and it's hardcore, and it's awesome. So yeah, here's the digital code though. Z for Zeta, K for Kilo, V for Villain, Q for Quill, H for Hotel, F for Frank, R for Rick, 38, G for George, 0, O for Oscar. Oh, man. I also have Captain America 698 Out of Time Part 1 with Mark Waid and Chris Samney as storytellers, then Matthew Wilson as the colors. And yeah, so he we see Cap, and he is thawing out. He hears people talking, gets out, he attacks them, and they're like, hey, what are you doing and stuff? And he's like, oh, and they're like, they show DC, and it is just rubble. And they explain like these elites and stuff, what happened, and it was that same group had a nuke go off, and now people are radiated, and it gave him powers and all kinds of stuff. He's just seeing like how messed up this world is now, and he's like, oh, it's all my fault. I got to fix it. And he's like trying to protect these people, but he kind of puts them in danger at the same time. But then there's this kid who's wearing his shirt and is targeted because he's wearing his shirt. And so he shows up to save the day. And then this whole troop, this lady and her little resistance is like, all right, we stand by you. You're the real deal. And, you know, we really have nothing left. So we're willing to fight and die, you know, with you, for you, beside you. It is freaking awesome. And I love it. It's weird. And I was kind of like, oh, I don't know. We'll see how this plays out. But yeah, it's a good intro. It's a good jumping on point. So it's a strong buy. It's a contender. But I'm going to go ahead and give this digital code away anyways. K for Kilo, C for Carlos, R for Rigoberto, W for Juanita, X for Xavier, 407, E for Iluterio, R for Rigoberto, K for Kilo. I have Batman Detective Comics, 974, 299. James Tynion the fourth is the writer. Philip Briones is the artist. Alan Pasalacqua is colors. Sal Cipriano is letters. And spoiler alert, people, Clayface has been shot in the head by Batwoman, by this special weapon that her dad gave her. And they explain it, and they're like, yeah, he's just Clay. And Batman goes up there, breaks the gun, and is like, you know, this is not how we do things, you know. And it's just this theologies, essentially. There's of the crew of this Detective Comics crew, where like Batwing and Azrael are siding with Batwoman, and then you have the actual like Bat family siding with, of course, Batman and Robin, or Red Robin, and just saying like that's the whole point of this. Even Cassandra is like, we don't kill. That's what the Bat symbol stands for. I love it because Cassandra actually rips off Batwoman's Bat symbol from her chest. It's freaking great. And then her dad tries to recruit her, back into the fold and stuff. And yeah, this is an emotional book, and it's really good, and it's really intense, and it's fantastic. I give this one a strong buy and a contender. So just because of the things, it's really crazy. And I'm kind of happy in a sense to see this crew end in a sense, but I'm wondering if they're going to break into two different factions too, and we'll see. So yeah, strong buy contender. Lastly, Superman Action Comics, $9.97, $2.99. It is Dan Jurgens as the writer. We have Brett Booth as the penciler. Norm Rapmund as the inker, I want to say. Or maybe it's the other way around. And then Andrew Dalhouse as colors. So, we have the son of Zod, who is now full grown because they're in a different timeline. And Superman fights him, and he's like, yeah, this kid's never had a real challenge, so I'm going to be able to take him down, But then his dad shows up, and he's like, oh, I've been waiting for this for a long time. I've been training, and I have way more experience, so I'm going to mess you up. So it's really crazy. They even they kill or destroy Kellex, that sucks. But the whole family's there and defeats Superman and Booster. So it's like, I don't even know what they're going to do right now. Then you have Lois and Jono, and they're going to help her dad and stuff. And they get him out, but they doesn't look like they escape. So that's kind of terrifying and yeah, that makes me go like, you guys need to get your own time, because yeah, people might die. You know, people closest to you. You're more worried about, you know, your past father timeline and stuff than you are your own present family. So you need to get your crap together. So this is another one, really great. I liked it a lot. It was a strong buy. It was a strong buy. And it's time for me to announce my back and bag of the week. So a lot of great, phenomenal books here this week. As always is the deal. But I think I'm gonna just have to go with, man, I don't know. This one's a toughie. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna go with the Thing and Human Torch as my runner up, and then I'm going to have Miss Marvel as my back and bag of the week. So that being said, Darth Vader, I'm going to give away the code for that one because I believe I held on to it. So here it is. Or did I? No, I don't think I did. I read that one off. I remember it. But I did have, like I said, here's Human Torch, the code for Human Torch. This one's just a great book. So this lady that can fix the humans up, or the superheroes up, she has the tech to do it. She's like, I'll fix you guys up under one condition, because I usually charge people a lot of money for this, which is to go with me on your adventure. And so and then the other crazy part is the Mad Thinker. He is now pretending to be the new Reed Richards. So, because he's like, Doom is pretending to be the new Iron Man. He's like, I'm going to pretend to be the new Richards. And I fear for Richards' return, only because that means that Doom's probably going to go back to being evil, which will be a cool, great arc, but nonetheless. So here's the digital code for the Thing and Human Torch. F for Fantastic, Z for Zarbon, M for Mankey, P for Pluto, 8535, A for Alpaca, 7, W for Wesker, U for Ultron. And then Miss Marvel was great. Like I said, there's this great monologue pretty much by this girl about how, just about how, like, we shouldn't throw away our old people and stuff. And, just because they kind of ruin the economy, or and stuff like that. But it's deeper than that, I think, even. But yeah, it's just great. And the way they come together, and then they bring Captain Marvel in at the end, and so she's gonna fight this monster off, and that's gonna be cool. And then I hope she gives a good talking to Miss Marvel, so that'll be freaking great. So yeah, here's the digital code for that. F for Familia, Z for Zorro, M for Marco, 7, 4, S for Senor, H for Hector, Z for Zorro, B for Barrio, 3, 6, H for Hector. And that's it for me for now. So thank you for watching, viewing, listening, whatever you do, however you enjoy this. I thank you and appreciate it. And I hope you appreciate these comics. Tell me if I missed any of them that I didn't give away, and I'll give it away. Actually, I still have one to give away from last week that I finally got off. But anyways, videos, there's Duke City Comic Con stuff's going to be coming out on the YouTube, as well as some Santa Fe Comic Con stuff. Unfortunately, there is an interview that I did with Harley 505, and the audio is almost shot in that whole video, so I might have to scrap the whole video, which really sucks, because it was a phenomenal interview. It was a really enjoyable interview. It was really great. And so our mic just went out. It's out. Good thing we have a new one. Hopefully that one works. Haven't really tested it. Need to test it. So yeah, and that's that on that end. You know, I'm gonna try to do some Life is Strange. I need to edit that one, and my nerdy fitness vlog is now out. You know, where I talk about nerdy stuff, I talk about some fitness stuff. You know, a little bit of both. You know, food, all these things, whatever. So yeah, and that's pretty much it on that end. Yeah. So keep an eye out for all that stuff at TNTM the show. It's all on our website, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr, and anything else that we have. It's all TNTM the show. So talk nerd to me, I'll talk nerd to you, and keep your ohos hungry for comics.